there's a world, yeah, sure, there's a world where it happens, and I think we may have waffled a little bit too long because we didn't really talk about the match at hand at all, but we're right into it.
Yeah, looks like we're going straight on to Dust2 and Fnatic on the T side, Grayhound Gaming on the CT. And just as quickly as we jumped into the match, we're actually getting Fnatic directly on towards that bomb site. The bomb has not been put down just yet. The rotations have come through out of Grayhound, but it's going to be a 5v3 right off the bat.
Yeah, and it's on the B side as well. And pistol rounds, it's at least a little bit easier, but other than that, well, this is going to be a tough situation. They've got a little bit of a boost in. Try and look over the smoke, but it seems like Fnatic have definitely spotted this one out. And while pushing forward, JW will find one more, leaving it all on to Big Dick. He's got a lot to do and does actually manage to find himself a couple of headshots, but there's still a couple of people remaining. A third one actually hit, but Exist will finally put him down. It got close there. His sticker is probably one of the most bought stickers in the whole game, by the way.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's a normal man with a normal name.
I'm pretty sure I got one in like a sticker capsule and sold it for like £5. Like people really do want the sticker.
So you're the kind of guy who loves to do like weird little names, little puns with
That one was too easy. Like there was literal Reddit threads coming up with all of the possible names, like combining the big sticker and yeah, you can imagine where that goes. And,
yeah. Dick Stacy Big?
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's odd.
That's what it was.
In the meantime, we're into round 2. You're going to see Aircast try to push up here up against JW. He's just tucked away behind the dumpster. Does have some backup, however. Exist has been smoked off. But with just a little bit of HP left, Stacy actually rejoins the fight here, takes down 2. He might be able to trade up to an AK here if he can pick up something that was on the ground from JW. And just like that, Grayhound come out strong in the force up here with the pistols.
Yeah, already retrieving 2 AKs as well. That's the biggest thing out of this so far. There's only going to be SMGs and a scout twist. Normally does pick up the sniper when it comes to their T-side play, and pretty damn good at it at that, but this isn't the sniper he particularly liked to have in his hands at the moment, and Brolin just trying to get close. Like, they're trying to play the angles that will really benefit the SMGs that they have versus those rifles, and Crim's just holding close. He doesn't realize there's a man already past, and Dick Stacy finds another one. Sicko with one more. It's left all onto Crim's in a clutch, and although he is pretty damn good in those situations, not this time. Fantastic force buyout from Grayhound, and they break back within 1.
A massive victory there. I'm really surprised to see kind of JW get, not surprised the fact that he got locked out, but surprised to see actually Dick Stacy push that aggression, realizing, okay, we have Exist separated. Well, he didn't know who he was at the time. We have him separated, one guy by himself. He saves Urcast so they can maintain the double AKs into the next round and did a fantastic job of getting some control back. I mean, they're tying things back at 1 apiece. Fnatic now forced to go basically on the save. They do have a Deagle in there and a couple P250s, but that's not the start you want to see for Fnatic, especially, well, in a best of 3. Well, luckily it is a best of 3, we should say. It's not a best of 1.
Well, they're going to play things relatively safe.
Oh, what? What is happening?
A few pistol... Well, I think it was a dink, but...
Yeah, it's Dexter.
Not a huge amount of damage done, and well, this is the problem. The scout at the moment is 1-shot kill. They don't have any armor, so for the T's to really get any ground in this situation, they're going to need to do something quite impressive, and instead it's actually the dunk onto Crims. He gets hit by 2 different nades, doesn't even get to spot out an enemy. They are clearing things up at the moment. Fact is, really, this should be a very clean round for the CT side. But this is sort of the problem at the moment for Fnatic. Like, this is actually the worst start you can have for your economy in the game at the moment, because if you lose the pistol, you at least get extra bonus money now.
Right.
Whereas if you win the pistol, lose a second round, you get the minimum. So, and you hand over a load of weaponry to your opponent. So it's actually as bad as it gets, but at least they did get the bomb down in the last round, so they'll have a little bit of extra money on top of that. And can Exist at least get 1? No.
Well, not only do they hand over weapons, they handed over 2 AKs. Like, that's even more impactful, because then they can just save money. They don't need to force up into an M4 or from Moss, and they can just maintain those weapons to really build up that strong economy that they're going to need to do here in this long series. So you can see now an AUG picked up from Dick Stacy, had that last round, but Sicko upgrading to the AWP, and we're going to be seeing Fnatic buying up back into this one. A little bit light on utility, we have to say, though, Tom. And we do have the SIG here picked up out of Twist, looking for maybe a shot or 2 as they cross, but unfortunately not going to be able to.
Yeah, they've actually gone for two SGs over the AKs with maybe an extra smoke or an extra flash or something. So clearly hoping that'll benefit them, but so far it hasn't worked out. Sicko with the AWP is going to start things off. And
I mean, this has to be a mid to B, right? With 1 smoke?
I think they're going to really try and challenge this AWP. They want to finish it off, but repositioning a nice crossfire for the CT side, and Exist will be able to find one, but it may be too little too late. They're already quite far down in this round. The one saving grace is they've got a lot of time, but they've got 1 HE for utility. A decoy, I don't even really count. It's just a fake flash, and you can do that with a pistol. So it's just going to come down to individual skill at the moment. And from what we've seen so far, Grayhound, they seem to be matching Fnatic at the moment.
Yeah, doing fairly well. Sicko so far. He's having a very strong game. Got 2 scout kills in the last round, 2 AWP kills in this round. More importantly, again, able to stay alive here. I mean, that constant threat. Looks like Fnatic, though, want to challenge out over towards the A site, which we're going to have Sicko there watching the cross. Yeah, Dust2 watching any sort of push towards long, but as we can see on the mini-map, no one's going to be coming from that direction. I swear, you would do a fantastic job cosplaying that terrorist, by the way, that model.
I think I already do, just on a day-to-day basis.
It only popped into my head because I saw that he doesn't have much hair. But Sicko's going to miss another shot here, allowing Exist to get in towards the site, allowing the bomb to be planted with 17 seconds left. But you'd imagine, with the bomb being put down, Grayhound should be able to overwhelm Fnatic and close this out. A credit to Fnatic to at least get some extra money in their pockets, unless somehow Twist and Exist together can come out huge.
Twist needs this kill and he gets it. Now they can actually retain some short control. Exist, however, will fall. And the one thing that really benefits him is the fact they don't have any utility. But other than that, it's about it. They're going to just peek in. In fact, Dust2 will close him out. So a bomb plant for Fnatic, at least some extra finances, and in a 2v4, not the end of the world. They'll at least get something done, something extra. But for Grayhound, keeping 3 players alive, more money being built up. And even still, Fnatic can't really buy it. They just have to go for a pistol or two, maybe attempt a faster pace play towards B, but actually they don't even really have the spawn for it either. That's the one thing that can kind of help you on Dust2, is like the spawns aren't static, like they do change and can actually change how you play the round, but they have almost spawned like grouped up as central as you can get, so it's not great.
By the way, just going back to something you mentioned before about Twist, saying he's having a really rough time lately. In their match versus Energy, actually was -7. He was 12 and 19, the worst for his team at 0.73 rating. I'm only bringing that up not to call him out in particular, but I feel like if Fnatic want to have a good chance here up against Grayhound, who are obviously gunning for redemption, gunning for revenge after losing to them in Sydney, I feel like him having a strong start would be exactly what they need. And speaking of strong starts, Dust2 mows down 2. And Grayhound looking 1 step closer to getting up to 4-1.
I will admit, in that context, I was talking about other Twist.
Oh, you're Liquid, sorry. Oh, my bad.
But it still stands strong. Like, he's going to be the T-side or pro a lot of the time. So, yeah, he will need to have a strong performance here on Dust2 especially.
We bounced around so many teams.
Yeah, we did.
I got confused.
Ooh, that was nice. Nice little cleanup. It was just a pistol round, but even still, it's quite common for teams to go up short and overwhelm an AWP and get a bomb plant. Even if it is traded like 2 for 3 or something like that, it's decent for him to just start off so strong. And the worrying thing at the moment is there's a couple of players on the Grayhound side, Sicko and Dust2, who are just plowing through Fnatic at the moment. 10 and 2, 8 and 1. 4 assists is gonna be a little bit painful. I know what that's like when you get to like 10 assists and you want to punch a wall a bit, but when you have 8 and 1, I think he's going to be okay with it.
You getting 10 assists is as likely as you ever getting an ace in your CS career, let's be honest.
Happens all the time.
Well, Dex, in the meantime, takes the head off of Twist, takes down, more importantly, the opposing AWPers. So that does give him a lot of extra control here. Maybe we're going to see JW go back and pick up the AWP, which he does. But Grayhound just seemed to have a good answer. Like, even in the pistol round, I mean, it says 4-1, but technically this could have been a 5-0 very, very quickly with Dust2 coming up big in the pistol round, taking down 3 and almost clutching that out up against Exist.
The thing is, economy-wise, it is, well, it's not better, but it can actually help you more if you do just manage to win the force buy. Like, it can get you off to a way better start, because as I said, you get your opponent's finances into your hands, and you set theirs as badly back as you can, so it has worked out quite nicely for them. As you can see, they've got a double AWP set up and a lot of money in the bank. And he's just hitting everything at the moment with that AWP. One of the most recent player to join this roster. And you can kind of see why at the moment. Has been in for like 3 months plus now. So here we go. Traded back into a close scenario. Cast pushing up close, but Brolin will take him down. And actually, Brolin's going to get a double as well. Dust2, the only one left alive and just trying to retreat back 20 HP. Didn't really have much of a chance to win this one. And it is going to be Fnatic back onto the board, even after the strong start with the AWPs. it is still going to be the Swedes to turn things around.
I was a little bit surprised to actually see Sika go for the challenge again after hitting that first shot, since they still had Dick Stacy playing towards long A. I was expecting them to maybe just kind of chill. I think actually it was Dick Stacy at Aircast playing towards long A, so just kind of chill back, go towards CT spawn, buy some time, right? Let them plant, go for the after plant situation. And with him falling off the bat, it was a little bit rough for them to maintain. Then again, I'm not gonna really say he's the only one to blame there, since we did have Aircast kind of push up and didn't expect them to be hiding inside of that smoke on top of the box. But Fnatic have been able to retrieve double AWPs. And JW and Twist would imagine most likely be the two to pick up these two weapons. But Sika's been able to afford an op for another time. And they still have all the utility left to work with here for Grayhound. But money's gonna start to come into a big question if they lose another round.
Yeah, this is one of the only maps where I think a double orb setup on the T side is viable, and they are one of the teams that I am perfectly happy with them doing it. But again, they're just sicko. He's getting the opening kill so many times within this map so far. His aggression has been successful, and has even just been able to fall back quite comfortably. So although the pick play strategy is in for the T side, not mainly through choice. I think they just saved like a couple by accident. Most teams won't save 2 AWPs intentionally, although if they ever were going to do it, this is definitely the map that you'd see it on. But now with the CTs already gaining a man advantage, they don't need to peek. They've already got a little bit of information. They know that it's not going to be as one-sided if one of the sites is aggressively taken. And even if they just traded, say, 1 for 1, they're fine. Like, they'll have an advantage in the retake. So this is a kind of difficult position now for Fnatic, because it's unlikely that anybody's going to be aggressively peeking, and taking a site with 2 AWPs is fairly difficult.
Well, here we go, the push coming in out of middle. It's going to be all into JW inside tunnels to deal with, I believe that's Malta trying to fight out against him. Dexter, in the meantime, trying to hold towards doors. They push through. He doesn't even get a single bullet off. Now it leaves Malta all by himself with the AUG. He does get tucked in onto the site. However, JW pushes tunnel, gets the frag, and just like that, Fnatic, even being a man down, have been able to take the round.
I'm not sure what happened with Dexter. Like, it looked like he just almost put his hands up in surrender and just ran out.
Yeah.
And
he swung like super wide too.
Yeah.
I mean, again, wooden doors, so you could spray him down through it, but I was expecting him to maybe hold back a little bit to kind of go for, not necessarily a crossfire, but try to force him into an angle he could win the 1v1. Instead, he had a 1v2, which is obviously going to be even exponentially harder to win.
Yeah, I wonder if there was maybe some false information there.
Maybe.
Because that did look like someone more looking to rotate rather than someone peeking. Because if you peek door, you just shoulder peek it. Like, you don't just run straight out unless you don't think anybody's that far forward. You would try and get to the boxes if you thought they were about to push out, not if they already had. So
Right, right.
bit of a mistake, and that mistake, well, Fnatic are going to punish that. Like, this is maybe something that they could get away with in a local scene, which recently that's been more what they've been playing. And these are the sort of tournaments where they finally get the chances to actually play against some of the top teams, and they're going to get punished far more regularly here. So can't afford too many mistakes like that. They do still have the finances to buy again. Like, that's how much money they made in those early rounds. Smoke for middle going to be missed, so a bit more of a risk, but they get past it anyway. A little bit lucky. Like, that, you normally want to smoke that just so you can sort of negate someone like JW, but at the moment it's JW and Twist, and I wouldn't be wanting to run down mid if there's both of them looking down.
Again, we're going to see Grayhound go for the passive hold towards A. And Fnatic more than happy just continue to go for this slower pace style. Hold in towards middle, look for any potential rotates coming through. And Sicko, he's been very consistent for the team. He's been doing a really great job of just hitting shots time and time again. He's been relatively, I guess, quiet in the last few rounds. But again, in the round prior, he did get the initial frag onto Brolin. But they weren't able to stop the push in towards B. And having an Opper who can hit shots, you know, time and time again here, especially against Fnatic, who can, you know, him competing against Twist, competing against JW, is definitely a good sign for the team.
Yeah, smoke going to go down. Trying to negate that AWP presence, but also that smoke can be a bit of a bait, because straight away, you're almost trying to give away that you are going in this direction. And a lot of the time, you'll see a player actually just jump down towards CT, like maybe with a deeper smoke, just so then Sicko can be caught from multiple angles. Flash doesn't actually connect onto him. The second one does, and he's missed the shot. This will allow them to cross, but the second one, not missing that, gives them the man advantage and now falls back. And this is where they can be a little bit more patient. They don't have to be too risky. They have long control. They've even got some presence in mid. It's only short that they really need to gain, and then the round is theirs.
Really good shot there. Dick Stacy too, dinking down. I believe that was Crims for the nade to come through. Time is starting to tick away, and we're going to see the CT start to move up here. Sicko going to be the one leading the charge here for his team, looking for an angle. Twist being forced to look over towards Cat with the flash coming through. Misses that first shot by JW, won't. No, that's going to be air cast down, but Dexter's finally able to respond. Sicko's still going to be there with the AWP, but he's not really able to get into an angle to help out too much. Now Twist all alone against him. He hits the first no-scope, but he can't get much more than that. He gets rushed down. The defuse coming in out of Sicko, and then will be Grayhound going up to 5.
Yeah, still fairly close, considering the situation of 5v3 and the bomb ticking quite far gone. A bomb plant will be enough to, well, pretty much cement a buy for the Swedes, so the pressure is definitely not going to be off. And this has actually been quite an obscure game of Dust2 so far, because a lot of the time you see streaks coming out from teams. Like, this is a map where you could see 5 runs in a row, then 4 runs in a row back, or just a dominant half because you've managed to get the economy going and you really build into this. The fact is, Fnatic have been kind of grinding out a lot of these rounds, and, well, we have seen a bit of a change in this map, because it used to be, I would say, a bit T-sided. Like, not massively, but a bit. And I think the momentum could really work out for you because, again, I think this is a map where, like, we always talk about it as sort of the pug star map, but the reason is you start hitting your shots, you're able to get a good spawn for long. You can win a round off that. There's not many maps where a spawn and just you playing individually well can be enough to just win you a round. Like, it's rare, but because there's so many valuable pieces of map control and so many, like, 1v1 angels that can be taken, that can happen. But the AUG kind of changed that because you have that sort of long-range advantage, and there's positions now on long that you can be way more passive than you used to be and have a very good chance of winning that duel. So I expect it to be now a bit CT side. Like, still not massively. Like, there's still a lot of opportunities for the T side, but it's definitely changed a lot. And that's something that a lot of players don't like, a lot of people do. I quite like it because it's made things a bit different, because I think Dust2 got quite stale, because you just saw the same thing every time. But now it is quite different in the way that it's played, just based off one gun.
You did see there, by the way, Sicko at 156 ADR, Dick Stacy at 144. Really showing that Fnatic has put a lot of presence on this A site. However, 2 out of their 3 round victories have come from B hits. The pistol round, then the 3-1 split down middle, when Brolin was dropped very early on in the round. Sorry, I believe that was Twist, actually. So Fnatic really putting that heavy focus in and air cast. What a great couple of shots. And of course, the flashbang out of Dexter providing the opportunity for him to hit those shots. Now with the man advantage here, Grayhound can again go back to playing a little bit passive. Going playing a little bit slower. They have Sicko watching towards long A. Dick Stacy. JW's face. That's the face I imagine he just had when he saw the nade land next to him. It's like, you son of a... But Fnatic still, even with 3 players left alive, definitely have a chance here. And Sicko's actually get extra aggressive. He actually shoots between the 2, and Dick Stacy's only able to get 1. Brolin shuts him down. They have a smoke for a cross for JW.
Yeah, the thing is, though, you normally need 2. You need 2,
so
they're just going to throw it across. Yeah, there was not really much of a chance to smoke off the whole thing, so they just kind of make it a little bit more possible by throwing the bomb across, and not being caught out for it actually gives them a good opportunity here. Brolin, he's actually going to go peeking into the angle. He knows there's still a man there. Malta comes in from behind and gets both. JW wrecked, and that's the sort of position I'm talking about. Like, I don't think with an M4 it's anywhere near as easy for Malta to get that second kill. Instead, scopes in, JW, easy headshot, goodbye. Carry on with the next round, please.
And the information Dexter gathered with Brolin going for the re-peek and towards CT, and knowing there's a person inside who just planted the bomb, Malta can take that half second, that split second he needs to line up that shot to make sure to secure Brolin, then secure JW in the end of things. And then information gathered at Dexter working wonders here for Grayhound. I mean, they had a 2-for-1 exchange in the beginning in towards short, and they still came close to losing that round. And even though Grayhound are up 6-3, I feel like there's definitely a lot of rounds in there that could have changed with just 1 extra kill for either side.
Well, the other thing as well is that round, as you mentioned, it's almost purely information-based, because look at JW's position. Okay, see you later, Dexter. Maybe a little bit too confident in taking some of those mid-peaks. They've finally been punished. But yeah, basically, if Fnatic have the information there and play from short, they win that round. Because they had a man in CT, they had a man on long. So it would have been very hard retake. But this is a fast play. You were right. You said the B side has been their weakness. Brolin now catches another in middle as they look to rotate on the CT side. They're straight out of there. They don't have the money to fight this retaking beast. Wow.
I barely saw him even with X-Ray.
We've had some incredible orb shots already in this match, and from multiple different players as well. Crims, he's on the hunt. But the thing is, the T side themselves don't have a lot of money. Like, they already have like players without head armor. Yeah, I don't Really like that from Crims. I understand that you know that your opponent's economy is low, but Pit is one of the most common places to hide. You peeking Pit when he has an AWP and you have an AK, like, you have to do something ridiculous to win that fight. And your economy's not that good. It's not like Fnatic are sitting here with a bank of cash that they can just continuously just throw away guns. They're actually fairly limited themselves.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at Crims. He's going to need a drop from someone. That's what Twist is going to have to do in that, or maybe Exist. Yeah, Twist just drops him over the SG. Though, out of the 4 rounds, Fnatic have 75% of those victories. Actually, well, they've been successful 3 out of the 4 times they've gone B. Should, I guess, reword that sentence. But it seems like they should realize now that Grayhound have been a little bit weak, and it's not necessarily due to I want to say skill or anything, because Dick Stacy, with that moment of glory in the pistol, almost clawed their way back. But we're definitely seeing like a discrepancy in terms of their A hold versus their B hold. Oh, that's a nice little nade.
It's quite common though. Oh, he's actually managed to get the kill and an AWP. Thankfully, Brolin will be there to put him down to stop any more heroics. But the fact is, these are players who actually, without weaponry, it's a bit of a weird buy coming up from the CT side, because Dexter has himself a full investment and the rest of the team didn't invest anything. So it's a bit odd. Dexter with a nice shot there. Maybe the investment was worthwhile. He's found a 1D onto JW and left them in a 2 versus 3. And now it's not even an advantage in weapons anymore for the guys of Fnatic, because the 2 AWPs are still standing and they've only got 1 of the kills.
There's only 1 flash for Exist and no smoke, so there's no chance that they can get into these sites cleanly unless somehow people on Grayhound miss these shots. Now Exist shooting in the middle gives away his position. Dexter comes in from behind. And just like that, Grayhound do get another round on the board. 7-4 currently. And that odd buy, as you were mentioning before, guess it worked out.
Yeah, and Fnatic, they seem to be a bit out of it. I think the pause definitely seems to be necessary. It was a good round from Grayhound for sure, but they keep getting caught off by the aggression. I think Grayhound, maybe they're expecting Grayhound to show them a little bit more respect, because the pushes that we're having is like pop flashes into short, nades, a player jumping in towards that like lower position. Like it's been slightly ridiculous from Grayhound, but it's working. And that's the sort of plays that I think a team like Fnatic aren't necessarily going to expect. So if they continue, we'll see whether or not the Swedes actually adapt. It's going to be a pistol round. They've got a fairly good spawn on Crims for B. So I'll be interested to see if we are just going to have an aggressive push, because, yeah, it has definitely been a weakness. I think the problem is you normally have just 1 player anchoring the B site, and if you manage to overwhelm that 1 player, that's kind of the round done. But then again, a lot of the time it's very difficult to actually clear that player, because there's so many like dirty angles on the B site which are much more difficult to clear. Looking like, again, we're going to just see some short presence. It is the most common spot where you can get a bomb plant. The fact is, they're already utility being expended.
As you mentioned about Grayhound, though, I mean, they did stack an extra player towards B this round. Maybe expecting the pushes you were talking about out of B for Fnatic. JW's going to eat a little bit of damage here with the grenade coming through. But again, Sicko's got to be careful to not be overwhelmed. JW's dropped in towards CT. And looks like the bomb will be planted here. So a good little start for Fnatic, but still going to be extremely hard to fight their way through this to add an extra round to their current 4.
Yeah, with fast rounds like this as well, there's normally a lot of utility left on the CT side. You can see there is. How has JW managed to get there? Just hiding behind. Catches out 1. They're still making this round costly at least, and that's a bit of a mistake. You're going to have to smoke your own Molotov. Luckily, the rest of the team doing damage. Brolin will find 1 more, but Crims left alone, and he is going to be overwhelmed as well. 8-4. Still a bomb plant, 2 kills. Not bad for Fnatic at all.
I mean, they made it decently expensive for Grayhound. I mean, 2 players is the worst out of the situation that they were given. I mean, they got a bomb plant and got 2 kills, so kind of working out wonders for them. And now back to the AWP out of Twist. Again, utility. Maybe a little bit lacking, at least out of Twist and Crims at the moment. And Grayhound, they got extra money to spend, so no worries for them at all. Dick Stacy, by the way, 18-5 so far. Credit, they have gone A a ton. So, but he's been hitting the shots, more importantly.
This is interesting. I think they've noticed as well as we have that there's been a lot more success on that B site. So they've stacked it. This round, they've left the A site much more vulnerable, which is not something we've seen so far. They've been far more eccentric in their hold. At the moment, though. It's still going to be that default coming out from Fnatic. I don't know if this is something new or I just didn't notice it before, but on the
minimap,
HUDs,
you can see the, yep.
Yeah, but the flames are different colors as well for the teams. I really like that. That's awesome. Because now you know if somebody Molotovs themselves off.
Yeah, and the smokes too.
And it looks pretty as well.
It does. Well, a minute left to go. Still heavy presence out of Grayhound on this B site, which might work out in their favor, considering 3 players on Fnatic are lined up to push out in towards middle. It's going to be all in JW to play the late flank if they do go for this attack. And utility's starting to run out here for the side of Grayhound.
Yeah, they've read this perfectly, though. You are correct. It is going to be a push towards B, and they've got it spot on as well. It's whether or not they can hold it. Dexter, along with Urkas, they didn't expect him in the corner. Another player holding in towards the tunnel as well will win his duel, and there's still 2 remaining in a 2v2. The Flames will do the final bit of damage, and Dick Stacy with the last kill as well. 9-4, and all that was a flawless read coming out from Grayhound. They spotted the weakness. They found, well, pretty much where Fnatic had got every single one of their rounds, and then they stack it.
And one thing we should say, Grayhound are currently on a 90% win rate when it comes to this map out of 10 maps, which is damn good indeed. And that is the map they actually did decide to pick for. Train will be the second map, and Inferno a third if we do need it.
It is worth mentioning, of course, that other than a game versus FaZe at Sydney, every single one of those is domestic.
Yeah,
so
that was the caveat I was going to add at the end. I mean, that's the same.
It's like for Train, they have a 100% win rate, but they've only played it 3 times, and it was all against other Australian teams. So it's not a map that they're bad at within their region, but Fnatic should be better and are better. But we'll see. Maybe they can show us something on it, because that's always the case with teams like Grayhound coming into these tournaments. Fnatic, they can do their research, but they don't know what they'll have saved for these sort of tournaments, because for Grayhound, I imagine the domestic scene is probably not that much of a challenge. So I don't imagine they throw in too much in terms of their deeper playbook. So Neil M is going to have, hopefully, some extra stuff for them.
Well, at least for Grayhound, though, they're off to a strong start. 9-4 is definitely a very good scoreline here for them on the CT side. They could somehow pull off an 11-4 scoreline. I feel like they should have this map in the books. Smoke going to be coming through. Again, they're going for a B hit. No stack this time out of Grayhound. However, they're only against pistols this time. Dexter not going to swing too wide as he's previously made mistakes. Zercast is going to push through the smoke. And Grayhound will get their 10th now on the board here, Tom.
Yeah, I have to say I'm impressed with both AWPers as well. Like, a lot of those positions that they've been in, it's very easy to either be split between a couple of players. We did see it once earlier in the game, but also just how clinical they've been. Because if you miss a shot there, you get overwhelmed. The player who's watching tunnel likely to also get overwhelmed. You lose the B site, that round could slip away. But he gets 2 kills and gives time for rotations as well. So yeah, strong stuff from Grayhound. Now we finally get another purchase in for Fnatic, but the best case scenario for them is 5 rounds on their T side. As said, I do think this has become more CT-sided thanks to the AUG, but not quite to this extent. I'll be interested to see if they can actually turn this back. And in terms of their maps, this is definitely one of the weaker ones by the looks of things at the moment. They've had some like impressive wins on it. Like, I believe this was, is this one of the ones they managed to take away from Liquid when they played it in that final? I think it might have been. Yeah, they 16-6 Liquid, and then they got 17-6, or no, they lost 7-16, I can't even read, to Optic. So it's like their Dust2 is just illogical by the looks of things. It's like, we can beat the best team in the world, and then we
Hey, Optic
lose.
just won DreamHack.
I know, I was there.
I know. Well, now into our final round of the half, with Fnatic already having a man down, Brolin being eliminated here by Sicko. And again, we talked about they had like a 3 out of 4, 75% success rate when it comes to hitting B, but that's completely changed now. The last like 2-3 rounds they've gone B, they've been shut down by Grayhound, and yet they're continuing to go towards this B site. This time, we're trying to peek in dry through middle. Smoke eventually going to come in to allow the cross, as the flash is even being thrown in at JW and B at the same time through tunnels. And Malta, he's in a rough spot now, getting away his position, tries to flashbang to give him some sort of opportunity. Does turn away at the right time, gets the first frag, gets a second, and looking for the third as well. Urkas is going to come through, and somehow Malta stays alive to get the 4th at the end, or the 3rd in his case. And Grayhound will go up 11-4 now.
Yeah, I'm very impressed by what we've seen from Grayhound. We're going to get to see if they can close this out after a short break. The second half is coming up.
Welcome back, everyone, to the showdown here between Grayhound Gaming and Fnatic as they fight to keep their chance alive here in the Season 9 ESL Pro League Finals. Still Jason Kaplan and Tom Biz bringing you all the action for this best of 3 and the next best of 3 when we do get to it later on today between Daytona and Cloud9. And at the moment, as you can see with the scoreline, 11-4 here for Grayhound, having a fantastic start on that CT side. Sicko, Dick Stacy, Dexter, even Malta in the later halves of that first half, really all stepping up and doing some serious work here for the boys from Down Under.
I actually kind of want to try and find a half from Crims that is worse than this. Like, I genuinely think...
Tom.
No, I genuinely...
Like, just started and you're already throwing shots.
It's just how good Crims normally is and how consistent he is. I can't actually ever think of a half that he's had that was that bad. And that's almost a credit to him in a sense. Like, it's sort of a compliment, like saying, like, this is weird. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, Crims doesn't have bad games. He is the consistent player. Like, if you scroll down, like, the amount of times there is 20 and above kills is, like, more than there's not. Let's put it that way. So it's odd. It's odd that Crims has not had a decent start to this game. You do normally see some big CT halves from him. Like, you look at Mirage, he is the king of the CT side connector. So hopefully we're going to see a step up from him. Otherwise, Grayhound should be dominating this first map. And so far, they already have been. They're going to build up into long initially. A little bit of aggression coming up. But it seems like they have negated that. The T's may be ready for some sort of push to come out. And instead, we're looking to see what's going to happen on long. They've still got one around there. Dexter already tagged to 12 HP, so they do have to be a little bit careful with this push, and it does look like they're now going to start their split back towards this A site. Urcast hoping he can keep them around that area, and Crims just pretty much sitting back and already doubles his kills from the last half with 2 in 1 round. And gives them a strong start in this pistol.
JW gets one in mid too, so this leaves Dick Stacy and Dexter all to themselves. Even a flank coming in out of JW in the meantime. Trying to get behind them as they're trying to cross in towards long. Dexter, yeah, the bomb's not going to make it towards the site, and Fnatic should be taking the pistol on here. Dick Stacy trying to survive, gets the first. Still has 3 more to find. Does have the bomb as well in his hands, but he doesn't see Twist right behind the smoke. He's going to be missing a couple of shots here, and he's being shot from the back at the same time. Every bullet going his way, but he can't matrix it up enough to take the round and to save the round here for Grayhound as Fnatic do take the pistol.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good thing for Fnatic that Crims gets a couple of kills in that one. Because if he starts to build into this, I think they can bring this back.
Confidence, yeah?
Yeah. If he, like, I don't think he's a player that particularly needs that. Like, he is part of the team that had the most legendary pauses in Counter-Strike history where they could be losing, like, 14-5 and then take a pause and they would just start laughing at the fact that they know they're going to bring this back. Like, they even said that. Sometimes they said nothing. They would just sit there and go, we're going to win this, aren't we? It's like,
just building tension, you know?
But... So I don't think he's necessarily a player who will need to have this, like, oh, yeah, no, I've gained a bit of confidence. But it's always going to be in the back of your mind. Twist now looking to farm up some cash, gets a couple of kills, but even still, a little bit of damage here coming in for Grayhound. And, well, the USP of JW will go down. It probably means we're going to see the CT side AWP come out from him, which is the norm. But even still, the T side with 2 kills, and we know that they're coming up with the AKs in the next round. They haven't really gained anything. Like, if he gets a kill with an MP9 from Pit onto a player who's on the site, I am going to be quite tilted.
If he clutches this, I'll mimic your hairstyle. All right.
It's a beautiful hairstyle.
I
don't know why that would be a forfeit. It's almost a benefit.
And especially in summer, you know? Keep things cool.
Well, you say that, but then that only works if you're inside. If you're outside, then you have to sun cream your head.
Do you actually use sunscreen on your head?
Yes. But, like, I would just burn my head. You know how I have done that, and it's very painful. Also, especially when I have to wear headphones or headsets.
When you're washing your face, how do you know when to stop? Like, where's the line that you just know where you stop?
Line, Jason. It just carries on.
Well, in the meantime, Twist is carrying on as he gets a first kill here onto Dexter, shutting down a very aggressive push out of Grayhound off the bat. And you can see Fnatic, instead of challenging, they've actually pulled everyone back towards the A site in the meantime.
Yeah, they're happy with their...
So do you shampoo your face on accident? Like, how does that work?
You know where your forehead is.
Yeah, but like...
You must probably get some shampoo on your forehead. You don't then just go and rub it into your eyes.
But I'm like looking at your head and I don't know where that line is.
Well, I do, because there's a little bit...
A little stubble? Oh, you spiked your hair today. Looks good. Urcast just opening up that B side right to the bomb. It's still rotating from T-spawn, so there's some time for Fnatic to get here. However, they're trying to push right in. Twist, how does he get the free shot off like that? Urcast doesn't even take a shot either. Twist gets himself 3. What is going on? Fnatic, they should have been playing for the retake. Instead, they shut this down before Grayhound have a chance to get the bomb down.
Yeah, that was a solid flashbang as well. That was a solid flashbang. It left at least one of the players completely blind, and I think the other was the one that was initially killed, so didn't really stand a chance. Dust2 just hoping he can creep back past long, because there's going to be someone watching, and there was, Crims. So the fact that he's managed to get past without anybody knowing is great, but they kind of worked it out. Like, let's be honest, there's 4 of them left. One of them can definitely watch towards the A site. Crims is even going to go and peek in now, and he will execute Dust2. Yeah, perfect.
Both players got their exact same time. That was insane. Well, now Grayhound going to be on the eco here. And Fnatic, as you mentioned, you know, taking pauses to turn games around. They were down 11-4, now up, well, no, down 7-11. And they're starting to build some steam. Crims, you talked about before, had 2 kills at the end of the first half. Now he has 5.
He had 1.
Oh, he had 1. So getting 4 additional ones is not a bad start the first 3 rounds of the second half.
Yeah, I think Twist as well. Like that was a big quad kill, like a really big one. Because if they just get into that side and it's a 1-for-1 trade, then they pretty much win that round. So massive individual plays. That's something that we expect from Fnatic at this point. There is not a player on this team who can't pull out clutches. But here we go, Crims with the start. Looking to pad those stats a little bit versus the pistols, and already managing to find 2, switching to the USPs. Done a lot of damage along the way as well, but eventually will fall. It's not going to play any part in the round, however. Bomb already dropped into CT, and Urcast with just a P250, praying he can maybe hit a double dink or get a little bit extra, but it's not going to be the case. Fnatic keep it clean. They start to build up their cash. And now we're going to see Grayhound with what I would say is their first proper buy. Like, they can have the AWP, they can have a lot of utility, but now they're only 3 rounds in the lead.
Becoming much more likely for Fnatic to turn this round, or this game around, as they do pick up the AWP, get it over to Twist. Sicko going to be, he's his own op. He's been relatively quiet. I feel like he got like a majority of his kills, and generally like the first half of the first half, if that makes sense. The first quarter of the game so far, I guess, is the best way to say it. I feel like he hasn't been hitting as many shots since then. Then again, they've been hitting B a lot more often when Fnatic were on that T side. And Urcast and even Sicko going to be looking for some sort of pushing towards B, maybe trying to catch out some aggression, but Fnatic are playing passive. They're not in a hurry to cause any mistakes.
Oh, that's a nice nade. And Twist is even going to find a pick as well, with a little bit of aggression. This is what I was sort of talking about, though. This map has become more CT-sided. Like, obviously, the way that Grayhound kicked things off was very impressive, managing to get 11 rounds. But the fact that then Fnatic start their half off so cleanly does worry me. Again, another context of this map is momentum. Like, you really can just drag rounds through and streak ridiculous amounts together. And at the moment, Grayhound haven't even really scratched the surface when it's come to either side. Like, they haven't come close to winning a round. And look at Exist all the way through, just gathering information. I think he knows that Sicko's there as well, so just the scope giving him away, waiting patiently. He wants more than one, and he's not going to get it, at least for now. But even still, there's nothing that Grayhound can do in this round. They lost so much map control, and Sicko is completely surrounded. They know exactly where he is. Twist even wants to try and take the fight. He hits the shot as well, but Sicko will hit one back. 5 HP. Ooh, that's a nice shot. Oh. That'll be all. You wanted him to win that.
I wanted to see that. I wanted to see that next shot hit. You know when you're in the zone in a clutch and you start hitting the op shot, next op shot, and you just feel it? That's what I was starting to feel just from watching him alone there, hitting that shot into Exist with a fantastic flick. But a great job by Exist to push out, again, gather the information. Now we're going to see Grayhound take a timeout, their second of their 4, as Fnatic have been able to take 5 rounds back to back. You can see Dust2 still maintain the 100+ ADR. I mean, he had 144, I think about like 8-9 rounds in the first half. Sicko's fallen off a little bit, and all in all, I think everyone in Grayhound is playing well. I mean, you just look at the kills they do have, whereas Fnatic on the T side, you mentioned before, with Crims only having 1. He's now up to 8, by the way. And Twist as well, up to 14 off the back of that quad kill he got a few rounds earlier.
I will say, though, what I've seen so far in this half from Grayhound has been quite worrying. Like,
seems like they have almost like no plan. I don't know. They're not really getting any entry frags at all. And
well, they're not like they haven't got anything done anywhere. Like they haven't been able to get anything done on long without like losing a couple of players. Like for example, in the pistol round, they haven't managed to do anything onto short. Like there was the peak coming out from Twist and the aggression there. On B, they got slaughtered. Like it is still fairly early in this half, but.
Worrying signs.
Yeah, definitely worrying signs. And the more that this goes one way, the more Fnatic grow into this game, and the more chance there is of them winning this. In fact, if they win this now, I will not be surprised even slightly.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see them win like a 2-0 with Train to be the next map.
Yeah, well, I think they're going to be more confident in getting T rounds themselves, because it's the same for Fnatic. They just managed to brute force a few rounds on B, which hasn't really been the case so far for their opponents. Especially because I think Brolin is another fantastic anchor player. Like, he's now 17. He's got a little bit older, but he really is fantastic. And Mo exists now, looking to start. This is what I mean. Like, although it is only pistols and a scout, the fact that they haven't even done any damage. Like, there was nothing there. It's just Exist peeking in, using that AUG. Mentioned it at the beginning of the game. It has changed this map. I'll be honest, like, a lot of the stuff I've been casting has been, like, slightly lower tier Counter-Strike, but I didn't expect it to be this extent. Like, at the moment, it seems so dominant for the CTs just based off that gun. Just being able to hold angles and just basically pop heads.
And it seems like Grayhound is struggling to like gain any map control, like any real estate around the map. They've been trying to push in towards B, they get shut down. They push in towards long, they lose 3. They go in middle, they get sniped out. They've not been able to gain just the positions around the map that they gave up to Fnatic on Fnatic's T side. And I think it's a good sign of how Fnatic's been able to really stranglehold any sort of strategy that Grayhound want to use. As they're constantly shutting down at each position. You see Grayhound trying to change things up. Okay, B didn't work. Let's try middle. Middle didn't work. Let's try long. Long didn't work. Let's try B again. They're constantly switching up their strategies, and yet every time they do that, they're still unsuccessful to get in towards the site. They've not really been able to break through this stalwart defense Fnatic's been able to put up.
The other thing as well is like the way that the CT side is being played by Fnatic at the moment is the way that they're countering Grayhound. Their aggression is so minimal until they already have like a big advantage. Like the main aggression we saw was Exist pushing in. That was when they're in a 5v3. If he dies, it's meaningless. Like they still have a man advantage. Other than that, just look at their positions right now. A passive hold in mid, one man watching on long, they've already got long control. The other 2 players are deep within B. They're not peeking middle at all. They're not peeking short at all. They're just sat back. They're waiting for someone to give them a fight, and that's where they're going to win. Because it's not like there's a huge advantage off the back of the AK anymore. Like, that was the one thing you kind of had in this map, was you were able to take those individual fights, and if you were an AK versus an M4, most of the time an AK would win. Now you don't really have that anymore. And as I said, it's why a lot of people hate it at the moment, because you can just sit in angles, you can get up close as well. Look at Exist, he's so close.
Yeah, speaking of up close.
But they only have 35 seconds as well. So if he manages to just hold them here, he could do enough. Now, he's already found out information. The bomb is on long. So the short play at the moment doesn't even really matter that much. If the bomb can't get out of this spot, they're going to lose the round based off that alone. And that is a big problem. Like, Exist is still here. He's holding the corner. They've got Twist facing the other way. Even if they manage to get these kills, I don't even know if they have enough time to get the bomb to the actual site. Urkus peeks in. He's got 10 seconds. He's got to go running. Smoke's going to fall down. The second will go in as well. He's going to have to get there in the last second, and Brolan kills him through the smoke. And it's just not enough. They don't get to the site. Fnatic, all they did there was wait. That was their main strategy. They waited.
And more importantly, Exists, like his position, playing up close, getting the contact aggression, then falling back to pit, he was able to stop the push in from sight for the 2 players who were towards catwalk. The saving grace for Grayhound to potentially help the bomb transition across was to kind of pinch them at the same time. And yet he just gets in pit, takes a couple of shots, stalls them, allows the rotations to come in for Fnatic, and now they've tied things up at 11 apiece. And I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head. Fnatic are just sitting there playing passive, holding angles until they have such a big advantage, then they'll get aggressive against you. And if Grayhound can't win out on these 1v1 trades or these 1v1 fights, then it's just FPS 101. You're not going to win a match like that.
And Exist himself in that round wasted about 30, 35 seconds. Because there was the smoke that went down, he then sat behind it, and then he sat in the pit. So there was so much time. Like, they went to take long with about 45 seconds. Nice push, though. Good start. They managed to find an opener. JW's still here. This is the first time we've really seen them gain a lot of map control. The only problem is they're losing members. The flashbang's solid, but JW can't connect the shot. They are going to be able to at least get close to the site, although Crims is around. He's so close to actually connecting, but won't gain anything just yet. Dixtacy's able to cross to the site, and he is the man with the bomb, but there is utility being expended. He's surrounded by flames, but can still look to get the bomb down. Push going to come through the smoke, and it's a 1-for-1 trade as the tunnel's presence is now gone from this CT side, but it doesn't seem to matter. Sicko now have to pull off a big clutch, and it won't happen. The retake from Fnatic is enough, and they are on a crazy streak of rounds. This was what, an 11-4 half? 8 rounds in a row.
And credit to Grayhound, like they changed things up. Instead of telegraphing their play towards B, they just rushed straight through the smoke and then try to catch them off guard, which it did work. They did get one. Problem was they weren't able to maintain that, and they weren't able to shut JW down, who even went for a re-peek in from window. So Fnatic taking the lead here for the first time, second time of the game, since they did win pistol on T side. Their economy is looking amazing. They're all stepping up in form. Crims is now on 12 kills, by the way. He's actually not even the lowest fragger on his team. He's tied with JW. But, I mean, lowest fragger, that's not really a big thing when your highest fragger's at 16.
Yeah, Exist, again, will kick things off. They've gone for some long control, but there's already multiple players here. The peek in, though, from JW will be caught.
He hit that shot,
he does, yeah, he gets a kill at the same time, so it ends up being the trade. Molotov going to go down in an attempt to try and slow the push, and it does. Crims is able to get onto the site. He has been solid in the second half and will continue to do so. Another double. As mentioned, he had 1 kill in the first half. He's almost even now. He's almost leveled it out.
He's almost top fragging his team.
As I said, Crims doesn't have bad games. Like it's not. He is the most consistent player on this team, and I don't think there's an argument for that at all. So it was a crazy half, but now he's just going to balance things out, and that's why they're streaking back. He's not the only reason. Like, we've seen some big plays pretty much from every single member of the team. I think JW's stepped up. We've seen Twist as well. It's just Fnatic coming back on the CT side, and the problem is Grayhound have not found a weakness. The only thing they've managed to do is trade. Like, that's the most success they've had is trading. Like, okay, we got 1-for-1, and, well, you can't really win rounds that way. So
I still want to see, like, a mid to B play out of Grayhound. I feel like when nothing's working, mid to B is almost like your safest bet.
Especially with how passive the CTs actually have been, that could work for them because they've only really been holding from the CT spawn. Like, other than that, it's maybe someone peeking out a window with an AWP. I think JW's been around that angle, but yeah, it's actually this time he is going to go more aggressive. So that's the other problem that you're always going to have as
the JW factor.
Side. Yeah, there's
Where's
JW,
he going to be?
But also, like, Fnatic, even though they're being fairly passive, they are still being dynamic.
There we go. This is a chance to overwhelm them. They got pistols. They got to go. They do have some smokes, but the smoke wasn't set down in time. They decided to not push straight through this when JW missed the shot. Flashbang comes through. JW's going to get the tag, but not the kill onto Dixtacy. But Brolin's going to be there, and Brolin is already able to get that first kill onto Aircast. And he's looking for the second as well as they drop in towards the site. JW gets one after he's already dead with the Molotov. And yeah, they got the bomb. They've got it on site technically. But they're not really going to be able to get it down here as Brolin again comes up big. His third frag of the round, and Malta should be falling very shortly. With 9 HP and a 1v2, he's got time to work with, but health, he definitely does not. And Fnatic should be going to 14 off this.
He might even just save the AUG. Like, it is a really valuable gun on this map. So he could just bring that into the next round. It looks like he's going to go on a long rotation, maybe try and spot something out, take a bit of a surprising angle. The fact is, they've got the bomb on the site and there's only 2 places to watch. So they're going to see him coming. It's just whether or not he can hit a nice little headshot onto the man jumping across.
Oh, that timing. I think he was spotted. I want to say Brolin spotted him.
I don't know why he keep jumping if he spotted him.
Just happy. Jumping for joy. And
there you go. I want to point out Brolin's play in that round and why it is so intelligent. Like, most of the time, if you do a mid to B split, you have the majority of your players in middle. So, and then there's the late lurk through from tunnels. So his decision, when JW starts getting attacked from mid, he spots out multiple players, so JW gives him the information, and Brolin goes, okay, what's the most integral part of the map now for me? Holding onto the site, not valuable. B tunnel, very valuable. He gets the 1 kill, drops the player, the split is dead, and now they all have to run into his crosshair of that AUG. They're not going to kill him from there. So smart play from the youngster, and
I feel like I was watching a TV show there, you know, when the host asks you like a rhetorical question, expects you to answer, you know, like Blue's Clues or something. I was like, yeah, I got it right. Oh, there you go, Sicko hits the shot. But again, the trade comes back through. Fnatic looking like they're playing a completely different game of Counter-Strike here.
Wait, that round was just something surprising. As I said, they've been so passive so far, and Crims just runs up mid. That is a very Fnatic thing to do. Just like, okay, you've started getting comfortable in what we're doing, so we're just going to throw something completely ridiculous in. And even though he goes down, the fact that JW trades it so quickly, wow.
So let me ask you this, right? Because Dust2, it's one of the most well-known, if not the most well-known maps ever in Counter-Strike. I want to say, and I'm pretty sure I'm correct in saying this, that it's a map based around like individual skill and like being able to pop off.
Yeah, still a lot of the time.
I'm looking at Grayhound, and I don't really see someone that has that star power. I look at Fnatic, you know, I see, I was going to say Exist, but he's doing really well so far this round. I look at, you know, Crims, I look at JW, I look at Twist, I look at Brolin. All of them can pop off to a whole different level. When I look at Grayhound, I just don't see that. Am I wrong in saying that, or do you kind of agree with the sentiments there?
I think they do definitely still have like very talented players, but not to the level.
Right.
Nowhere near to the level. Like, okay, Uckus does at least manage to get 2. But yeah, no, you are right. But they are playing against probably one of the most clutch teams in the world. Like the way that they managed to get to the final in Sydney was almost based purely off just clutch potential.
Right.
Like Exist, I think, had the highest amount of clutches in the tournament or something insane, which, and you sort of mentioned it, like when you look at the star potential, he's not even really someone who comes to mind. Like when you think of stars, you don't really think Exists, but if he's also having an insane amount of clutches, they can then go and get to grand finals of big tournaments.
It's something Sponge said actually during Sydney that we actually talked to him about again when we were doing the Pro League week. Fnatic is a team that wins off clutches. Yeah. They're a team of clutchers, and so far they've been able to do that again, like hitting some of these shots, really been able to pull out some really good plays, even though the team's been majority alive. They've all been really stepping up.
Look how much damage has been done.
Too much here for Grayhound.
A lot of that was nade damage. I think there was also a tag with the AWP, and now Crims is, well, getting even more aggressive. Is this really going to be a flawless half? Oh, maybe not. Might have just jinxed it. Dixtacy's going to pick off one. They've still got to try and get past JW on the cross. He's actually not going to get the kill, but Brolin's there.
That's not the first time we've seen someone be able to get the refrag or prevent someone from dying like that.
Stop it. I don't want to see a jumping shot, please. Oh, well, someone was jumping.
There we go.
Brolin.
Kelly!
Oh, he does get it as well. That is absolutely ridiculous from Fnatic. They did not lose a single round on their CT side.
Well, 16-11 is going to be the scoreline here of our first map in this series. As we mentioned before, they didn't drop a single round, going 4-11 in the first half to take 12 straight.